Hello. Hello. Everybody back
Hello,
yet?
this is Leonard.
Not there, Leonard.
Oh,
We're just waiting now.
yes, sir. Honorable Paul Begay here with me.
Leonard,
Okay, not there. Shay.
Leonard, Delegate Abercrombie's on the line too. Can you add her to the sign-in sheet?
Okay, all right.
This is Delegate Charlene, so I'm back on.
Hello. Is everybody back on the line? Tom knows.
Chair, Delegate Wanika is on the line now.
Okay, that makes two of us.
Chair, this is Leonard. We should have four in line. Yourself, Honorable Paul Begay Jr., Honorable Charlene So, and Honorable Edison J. Winika.
Thank you, Mr. Mose. So let's go to calling this meeting to order for Health, Education, Human Services Committee meeting, Oversight Budget hearing for August 24, 1 p.m. Che, Mr. Mose, roll call, please.
All right, sir. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. Honorable Carl Russell Slater. Honorable Carl Russell Slater. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Halona's here.
Honorable Charlene So.
Present.
Honorable Daniel E. So.
Here.
Honorable Edison J. Winika.
Here.
Chair, we have 5 members, constitute a quorum.
Thank you. So we'll go to we had the invocation this morning. Committee members, do you have any announcements? If not, then let's go to item number 2, reviewing and adopting the agenda. Ms. Martinez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Agenda for the Health, Education, Human Services Committee, 24th Navajo Nation Council, Oversight Budget hearing, August 24, 2020, 1 p.m. Presiding Honorable Daniel E. So, Chairperson, Honorable Carl Russell Slater, Vice Chairperson, Place Viva Telecommunications, Winter Route, Navajo Nation, Arizona. 1, call meeting to order, roll call, invocation, announcements. 2, review and adopt the agenda. 3, oversight budget hearing. 1, presentation by Office of Management and Budget. 2, reviewing the Division of Social Services FY 2021 operating budget general funds as follows. A, Business Unit 11001, Division of Social Services, Executive Administration. B, Business Unit 117008, Navajo School Clothing Program. C, Business Unit 117022, Department of Family Services. D, Unmet Needs. 5, close the meeting, announcements adjourned. Mr. Chair, the agenda has been read into the record. And this agenda will have to be revised to include the legislation number 0176, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, committee members, how do you wish to address this particular agenda committee members?
Chair.
Motion to
Chair,
accept
would you-
agenda?
Chair, Honorable Edison Wanika makes the motion, second by
With the
Honorable
revised
Halo-
legislation.
Okay,
Second by Paul.
okay, so we got a motion to include the revised agenda, and that would basically be the presentation by OMB, and then after that, the budget, legislation 0176-20, and then after that, then the Division of Social Services will be able to give us the review on their general funds operating budget.
Okay.
Ayla, so we have a motion by Wanika, second by
I was
Paul
stopping
P.
by, I got a note for him.
Wanika or Halona, you.
I just stopped by to see if you guys we could do some more work on that. Oh, yeah, we'll be doing that later,
Okay, Che, Mr. Mose, roll call, please.
Okay, Chair, who seconds the motion for the revise of the agenda?
Paul Begay Jr.
Okay, all right, this is a roll call for the revision of the agenda. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Carl Russell Slater. Honorable Pernell Halona. Honorable Pernell Halona. Honorable Charlene So.
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Edison J. Wanika.
Green.
Honorable Edison J. Wanika votes green. Honorable Carl Russell Slater. Honorable Pernell Halona. Chair, we have a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, committee members, that basically, we adopted the revised agenda for this budget hearing. That'll take us to presentation by the Office of Management and Budget. Who do we have on the call from OMB?
Good afternoon. This is Selena Begay with OMB. I'm the Senior Budget Analyst. I will be reading the OMB report.
So Sheila, thank you.
Okay. On tab 2, you'll come to the OMB report, FY 2021 budget OMB report. That's the first page. The next page is the contents of this: A, FY 2021 fund type budget summary. B, FY 2020 third quarter budget status report. C, FY 2020 third quarter performance assessment report. D, FY
Excuse me,
20.
excuse me,
Yes.
Ms. Martinez,
Yes, sir.
what Ms. Begay's reviewing, when did that document get sent
I
to
just
us?
sent it also, sir. It should
Just
be-
now?
Yeah, just now.
Okay. At 1:05 p.m. So, see, I got it.
Can somebody please mute their phone?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning again.
Yes.
The first page, it's FY 2020 OMB report for the Division of Social Service. The second page is table of contents. A, FY 2021 fund type budget summary. B, FY 2020 third quarter budget status report. C, FY 2020 third quarter performance assessment report. D, FY 2020 third quarter plan of operations status report. E, FY 2020 third quarter conditional appropriation summary report. Then the next page, A, FY 2021 fund type budget summary. The next page is it has a worksheet. It's listed by the business unit: 117001, 117008, 117022, 11904. And if you look at that column, it says Navajo Nation Committee Approval FY20 FY budget. The next row down, general fund total, 4,161,988. And then if you look over to a little to your right, it says fiscal year 2021 Navajo Nation Fund. Proposed general fund budget. The total for that one, $4,161,183. Indirect cost fund, $402,834. Special revenue fund external, $160,394,457. Total, $164,959,474. And then the middle column has a business unit, 117010, 117011, 117012. It's the program for daycare for Chinle, 45 and Sherbrooke. And this one, the fiduciary fund total for FY20 general funds was fiduciary fund total was 146,000. And then if you look at the next column, the row proposed general funds, there's zero all the way down. The next business unit, overall total, if you look at the bottom, is 4,307,988. Proposed general fund overall total is 4,161,183. Indirect costs, and $402,834. Special revenue fund external total is $160,994,454. All total is $164,959,474. And then the next page, B, FY 2020 third quarter budget status report. The next page has a worksheet, has a listing of the general fund totals, all the four social service departments. The original budget for the total amount for that one is $4,564,017. Revised budget amount is $5,693,902.37. Actual is $1,586,689.09. Encumbrance $63,062.04. Budget available is $4,151.24. Percentage expended of total today as of June 30th, 2020 is 28.94%. The next column is for all the child daycare business units. There's 3 business units. Fiduciary fund total original budget $146,000. Revised budget $146,000. Actuals $652.01. Encumbrance $1,083.65. Budget available $104,264.34. Percentage expended of total is 28.59. And then the following, you will see the budget status report for each business unit. And then that's for your review. And then on C, C, D, and F, and MPS, Janet McCabe will be presenting that one. Tab C, your third quarter report, performance assessment report. There are 6 business units, and I will read the bottom. Overall average score. First quarter is 2.29, second quarter is 2.36, third quarter 2.15. Moving on to tab D is the plans of operations status report. Again, you have 6 business units. These business units have a current plan of operation, and they've all been adopted at 2016 and 2020. Moving on to tab E, condition of appropriation summary report. This business unit has 1 condition of appropriation, which is number 1, and the status, which was due at the end of the second quarter. We did have a response in the third quarter, and their status is compliant. The second one is a legislative concern number 12. This was due at the second quarter as well. They did respond in the third quarter, and the status is non-compliant. Mr. Chair and members of the committee, this concludes the OMB budget report. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, do you have questions on the presentation by OMB?
Delegate Slater.
Oh, it's still Vice Chair Slater.
Can OMB clarify the proposed carryover amounts for the relevant general funds business unit numbers?
Hello, this is Selena Gay. That was not, I did not include this in the fund tech summary report.
Okay, because I was looking at the legislation and it says that all carryover amounts will be, I'm on my phone, I can't pull it back up again, but I think for 2 business units in executive administration, they are proposing carrying over the balances. And I don't know if that's in this presentation or we can wait for later from social services to present that.
Chair, if I may, this is Kristen.
Go ahead, Ms. Lowell.
Chair, I am just looking through the OMB presentation, and I see that this Division of Social Services, I don't know if it was done by them or previously by Hess, but the new form created, Exhibit F, which is in general not part of the Oversight Committee exhibits. So what Delegate Slater is referring to was a form that was created to adapt to the needs requesting carryover. It's not officially, in quotes, officially part of the Oversight Committee exhibits. So I need to go back over to the legislation and look at something. I think we may need to do an amendment if the committee would like to include this in the actual legislation, because typically the legislation does not have Exhibit F, Chair.
Okay.
Flipped back over to the legislation, and I see that this is actually in the legislation. So 2 options: leave it in, but if that's the case, I need to amend exhibit the legislation, paragraph B on page 2, because Exhibit F is not reflected in the body of the legislation, and each exhibit referred to, or each exhibit included in the legislation needs to be specifically referred to in the body of the legislation. So if you would like to leave that in, I need to do an amendment, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Shania, this is Delegate Slater. Can I make one more comment?
Yeah, let's finish the OMB presentation first, Ms. Lowell, and then after that we can address the legislation. Go ahead, Honorable Slater.
Thank you. I was just going to let my colleagues know that I will motion later to table this because I personally need a lot more time to review all of the information in there till Thursday. I don't know if that's going to inform the discussion, and maybe we can have a list of recommended amendments that will go to Ms. Lowell that can be reconciled for Thursday. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, committee members, when we get to the legislation, we'll look at that. Any follow-up questions on the OMB presentation? Again, if there's no questions, I'd like to pose a question to Ms. Brigade. These carryovers, there's going to be a budget balance. The personnel expense, it'll go to personnel lapse fund, but the operational expenses, are you going to want to just carry it over, or it'll all just be lumped into another category. Ms. Begay.
Okay, the way we do our presentation on the part for the fund top budget summary is initially with, like I said, that spreadsheet, the Navajo Nation Council approval of FY20 general fund budget from the very beginning, and then later in the year, all the personal lab is done, but we don't include that one in here. But if there was any personal lab that was given to them, it will be included in here. But in the Division of Social Service, they did not get any personal lab during the budget session.
Okay.
That's why it's not included in here.
Okay. So Sheila, committee members, any questions? Okay. So as we did in the previous budget discussion, I entertain a motion and a second to adopt their presentation. OMB's presentation. The chair's open for a motion.
Motion, Delegate Slater.
Sheila, thank you. And then we have a second by Honorable Wanika. Further discussion? Okay. Che, Leonard Mose, roll call vote, please.
Aye, sir. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Carl Russell Slater.
Green, Delegate Slater.
Honorable Carl Russell Slater votes green. Honorable Pernell Zelona. Honorable Pernell Zelona. Honorable Charlene So.
Alona votes green.
Honorable Pernell Zelona votes green. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Edison J. Wanika. Honorable Edison J. Wanika votes green. Chair, a vote of 4 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you, committee members. Thank you. OMB, your presentation is accepted by the committee by a vote of 4 in favor, 0 opposed, the chair not voting. Now we go into legislation 0176-20. Ms. Martinez.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Legislation number 0176-20, an action relating to Health, Education, Human Services Committee approving and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. Mr. Chair, the committee is the final authority that the legislation has to be ready and entire. Being enacted, Section 1, Authority A, the Health, Education, Human Services Committee is a standing committee of the Navajo Nation Council. 2, NNC, Section 400A. B, the Health, Education, Human Services Committee is the Oversight Committee for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. 2, NNC, Section 401C1. C, each Oversight Committee shall review and make recommendations to the Budget and Finance Committee concerning the budget in accordance with the annual budget instructions. 12 NNC Section 840A. Section 2 Findings A. The Health, Education, Human Services Committee held a budget hearing and took budget testimony regarding the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. Fiscal year 2021 budget. 12 NNC Section 840A. B. The Health, Education, Human Services Committee recommends to the Budget and Finance Committee a fiscal year budget for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. 12 NNC Section 840A. Section 3, approving, recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the proposed fiscal year 2021 budget for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services. A, the Health, Education, Human Services Committee hereby acknowledges the proposed Navajo Nation fiscal year 2021 budget for the Navajo Nation Division of Social Services recommended by the President of the Navajo Nation as provided on fund type budget summary attached as Exhibit A. B, the Health, Education, Human Services Committee requests that the Budget and Finance Committee and Navajo Nation Council adopt the changes to the budget as set forth in the General Fund Comparative Summary. Exhibit B, recommended changes to the General Fund Budget. Exhibit C, recommended conditions of appropriation and legislative concerns. Exhibit D, and recommended unmet needs. Exhibit E. C, the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee authorizes the committee chairperson or vice chairperson to meet and negotiate with the Budget and Finance Committee on these recommendations. Attached are Exhibit A in the amount of $115,405,231. Exhibit B in the amount of $4,564,017. Exhibit C is listing 3 business units: 117001, 117008, 117022. Exhibit D is listing 117001, 117008, and 117022. Exhibit E is blank, and F is listing the carryover general fund budget for business unit 117001 and 117022. Attaches memorandum to Honorable Daniel So from Ron Haven dated August 13, 2020. Legislative Branch Internet Public Review publication date posted August 13, 2020, 7:38 p.m. requesting digital comment. Legislative Branch First Report Internet Public Review Summary posted August 13, 2020, 7:38 p.m. 5-day comment period ended August 19, 2020. Supporting comments none, opposing comments none, inconclusive comments none. Signed by Julissa Johnson, Office of Legislative Services, August 19, 2020, 8:17 a.m. Mr. Chair and members, the legislation has been read into the record.
Motion, Delegate Paul Begay.
Thank you, Che. Motion by Honorable Paul Begay, second by Honorable Cornell Halona. Who from the Division of Social Services is going to present?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, So, members of the Health, Education, Human Services Committee. I am Deanna Nesugishi, Division of Social Services Executive Director. I'd like to have my opening remarks. The Navajo Nation Division of Social Services provides an array of human services and social services through 6 departments and programs with a combined budget of $164,959,474 in federal, state, and Navajo Nation funding. And there are currently 522 full-time employees. Of the total Division of Social Service funding, 96% is federal, 2% is state, and 2% is the Navajo Nation General Fund. The majority of the funding are restricted to one or several specific services, and all federal funds are subject to comply with the federal rules and regulations governing its use. For fiscal year 2020 general fund budget, the Division of Social Services operated with a total of $4,553,461. These funds were appropriated for the Office of the Executive Director, Navajo School Clothing Program, and the Department of Family Services. The propriety funds are for the child care centers in the amount of $140,000. The Division of Social Services fiscal year 2021 general fund budget request is for a total amount of $4,564,017, which is $78,434, or 1.75% above the fiscal year 2020 approved general fund budget. This request will support the following: the Office of the Executive Director for $1,675,543, the Department of Family Services for $1,250,904, and the Navajo School Clothing Program for $1,637,570. The Navajo School Clothing Program is slated for an increase of $78,434. The fiscal year 2021 Division of Social Services major priorities. I'm listing 5. The Division of Social Services aims to connect all its departments and programs with one server to operate with the same case management software, which is a tribal assistance system, also known as TAS, and to store data at one secure data center. It will provide a centralized database of secured program and client information for departments and programs with defined module tailored to the unique needs, tracking referrals, cases, payments, reporting, and meeting all requirements aimed at an effective and efficient paperless service delivery. The next priority is to strengthen the administrative and technical support to the departments and programs. In coordination with the Casey Family Program, continue with implementation of the Division of Social Services strategic plan, utilizing the innovation teams to build a stronger team. Third priority, establish an accounting and contract compliance section within the Department of Family Services to improve the contracting activities and process of payments to vendors timely. Fourth priority, begin slowing down the Title IV funding in preparation for the Children's Bureau 496 financial report is under review by the Navajo Nation contracted auditors. The fifth priority is throughout the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic, direct service delivery will continue to be implemented safely with the highest precautions, utilizing different modalities such as email, telecommunication, virtual meetings, including Skype, WebEx, and Zoom. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my opening remarks.
Committee members, questions?
Tonight, this is Doug Slater.
Go ahead, Vice Chair Slater.
Thank you. Sergeant Ezugishi, I know that you had developed a template for reforming the division and making plans of operations amendments, and some of those have been considered and approved by the HES committee. I think there are other ideas as well. I was wondering if you could tie the changes that took place over the past year to your vision for fiscal year FY21 and create a little bit more of a narrative to accompany the budget that's been presented. Thank you.
Ms. Neswood-Gishi?
Mr. Chair, thank you, Honorable Slater, for your question on templates of plan of operation to changes to fiscal 21. We have Ms. Brenda Sosi is going to get the Gantt chart so we can make reference as well. Thank you.
Committee members, any other questions?
Leonard, who motioned the legislation for the second? I'm sorry.
Paul Begay made the motion, and Edison Winika second.
Thank you.
Chair, this is Leonard, that would be pronounced Malona, second that motion, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mose, for that correction. Ms. Nesbitt has a question.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, on the Navajo Nation announcement, there was this, I think, a press release or something that the Navajo Family Clothing Program has been renamed. And how is that happening without an amendment to the plan of operation?
This is Delegate Slater. Did my call drop, or they're still on the line?
There's a
Mr. Chair?
Sosi is supposed to answer.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And so when we submitted the plan of operations for the committee's review, and so when it passed in January 8th, 2020, this is where the school clothing program wasn't a separate standalone. It was under the executive office. And so when it moved over into the Department for Self-Reliance, that did move over with the school clothing program. So I understand your question, Mr. Chair. I can do further follow-up in that so that you're correct if it needs to have additional changes. We will look into that, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, our policy, Ms. Rosalind Begay would try to add more clarification, please.
Mr. Chair, may I have Mike?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is Rosalind Begay with the Division of Social Services. So the Navajo School Clothing Program, it's a service program, was within the Division of Social Service plan of operation. It did not have its own plan of operation. Thereby, what the division did was they did the assessment, they did the light services like the financial assistance services, including the school clothing program. Since the Department for Self-Reliance, this is part of the strategic planning that the division and its staff did. So services such as school clothing is a financial assistance. DSR, Department for Self-Reliance, has a case management software, TAS. So those financial assistance services and functions were transitioned to the Department for Self-Reliance under its direct service component of DSR, so that services will not be duplicated. And so TANF already has also a school clothing assistance. So then the school clothing program was transferred to DSR under DSR's plan of operation. So that TANF customers, children who are in the TANF program do not also get travel clothing program assistance that's funded by Navajo Nation General Fund. To the end, more school children who are attending school will be served. Mr. Chair? And to answer your, I guess, your question about the name change, because the school clothing is not, that assistance is not limited to school clothing. So it could also include other service provisions such as school supplies that children may need. So then it was changed to Navajo Education Incentive. Mr. Chair?
I know it may be a little trivial, but it seems like the way the committee had adopted was under the Navajo School Clothing Program. And now there's a education incentive. It's been publicized without a change in the plan of operation. That's all I'm, I guess, making that need for amendment to the plan of operation.
Shania, this is Delegate Slater. I have another question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Neswin-Gishi, can you walk us through the proposed carryover budget?
Ms. Neswin-Gishi or Ms. Brenda Sosi?
This is Brenda Sosi. I work for Division of Social Services. I'm the principal accountant. Mr. Chair and committee members, the question is on the carryover. The carryover for Business Unit 117001, there are still expenditures happening now, but after the reconciliation happens, that's what the carryover we are requesting for. That doesn't include the personnel lapse fund. Also for Business Unit 117022, which is Department of Family Services, that's the request for the same. We're not requesting for any carryover on the lapse fund, but after the reconciliation of the overall budget, we're requesting for the carryover. Our reason for the carryover amounts of the operating balances is the information technology that COVID-19 telework and software hardware refit that we are doing right now. We had submitted an RFP. We completed the RFP, and the cost will be $5.9 million. And for that reason, we're requesting for the carryover. We still have an available balance of like almost 75% in there. That's what we were saving our funds for that telework. So, and then also to complete, the telework projects that we have been proposing.
So basically, these balances that we have, we do cover a lot of the costs. I wouldn't say a lot, but I mean some of the costs that the federal funds are unable to cover. That's when we come in to cover those costs as well. So that's the clarification on that, Mr. Chair.
Chair, I have some follow-ups.
Go ahead, Vice Chair Slater.
So I think there's two business units that are requesting carryover amounts, and you're excluding the personnel funding and really the justification. What, for the record, can you identify what the requested carryover amounts are and read them into the record and for the benefit of the Navajo people? And can you explain what percentage of the original budgeted amount they represent for those business units, excluding personnel? Or if it's easier to calculate it with personnel, use it that way.
Mr. Chair,
This
if I
is
may.
Brenda.
This is Kristen. Sorry, Chair. I just have something to add, but I can add it later. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Sosi.
Okay, this is Brenda again. The remaining balances, what we're requesting for under those two business unit 117001, Executive Administration, and then 117022, Department of Family Services, is the remaining balances after the reconciliation of balances occurred. I had indicated that there are still expenditures that are happening. What we see here in the budget status report that OMB reported for business unit 117001, total percent of expenditures 23%. So 72% is what we still need to spend. That would be the 72% minus the personnel lapse fund. Then also the same would be for family, the Department of Family Services, which the total expenditures at 57%. So the 40% will be what we will be requesting for. But like I said, I don't have a dollar amount, but after, our closeouts happen, that's when we will determine the amount. Mr. Chair?
And what were the original budgeted amounts for those business units?
This is Brenda again.
Year.
The revised budget amount for business unit 117001, the Executive Administration's budget, is the revised budget is $2,808,465.80. So right now, what we have available is $2,135,247.61. Then for the Department of Family Services, the revised budget amount is $1,646,232.50, and the budget available is $703,070.58. Mr. Chair.
So how much of the $5.9 million for these IT upgrades do you anticipate being able to cover with the carryover budget? And where will the remaining funding come for that RFP?
The 2.8 or the 2.8 million is what we're requesting carryover. Then the difference will be from the CARES Act proposal that we had submitted.
So the 2.8 is your estimate for the carryover in general from the executive branch or from those two specific business units?
It will be from the Division of Social Services carryover general funds, the 8 million.
So is that 2.8 million from the executive administration business units, or is it inclusive of other? I mean, before you had said that we're not going to know the exact figure for these two until after we do the reconciling and subtract out the personal lapse funds. And now we're hearing the 2.8. I'm just trying to get some clarity on those two concepts and numbers.
This is just an estimate. That's what I'm going off of, the estimate amount.
Okay. And was it the program's intention to save this contract?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Was it the program's intention to save the funding from fiscal year 20 for this contract?
We have been, Division of Social Services, we have been planning this because we went through a thorough assessment of all the equipment under Division of Social Services. Based off of the assessment, that's when we went with the proposal, request for proposal, and that's what the awarding proposal was 5.9 million. So we were actually estimating like 6.4 million, but when the proposals came in, it was at 5.9 million. So these are based off of our priorities as well, and when we reported 2020 priorities last year, we wanted to streamline, we wanted to improve the financial services and social services. So that part of that was the case management system. In order to do the case management system, we gotta, purchase like all the hardware and the equipment. That includes all the laptops, the desktops, the scanners. So that's the whole proposal. That's the cost that we were talking about. Mr. Chair?
Chair, I have some more questions. So for this RFP, has that been shared with the committee, or what the contents were of the, winning the RFP award winner? And what the plan is? I assume this is going to be a phased-in approach, or is the idea just to spend all the money in FY21?
Ms. Sosi?
Can you repeat the question so I can answer you properly?
As the winning RFP or the awardee and their RFP or proposal been presented to the committee? And what is the plan for implementing those upgrades? Is it a phased approach? Is it all in fiscal year 21? What is the plan? And then I guess the third question I didn't get to is, how much general funds did the Division of Social Services receive in FY20?
Ms. Sosi?
Hello, this is Brenda again. Your question about what was the dollar amount that we received for FY20 for Division of Social Services, the overall was, we received I'm going to read the revised budget, which is $5,693,902.37.
with all the data that's being brought forward by the Health Command Operations Center, and part of the real numbers is we're hearing an increase in domestic violence, assault, and those items, and even where there's death and children are left without parents. How is the division realigning their priorities, their programs to address those matters? It seems like these items would be something that would take a bigger priority starting with in the new budget. And so that's the question. And since we are addressing executive administration budget, what are you doing to basically have your staff address and focus in on these issues that I just outlined?
Mr. Chair, thank you for allowing me to speak in this area of social work. And so the increase in domestic violence, this is where there needs to be a continuum of care of services. And this is where the realignment proposed, and that was passed, going to Department of Family Services so they can have a continuum of services, not just to look for the safety of the victim who's suffering domestic violence, could be an individual or with their children as well. And so we do an awesome job of finding placements for an individual for safety reasons and if they're needing assistance with a protection order. The ongoing services to that end is to possibly offer additional services. Maybe the individual may be staying in the home because they may lack job skills, they may lack funds. And so this is where the ongoing case management continuum of services to work with the individual. If they're needing a GED, they can be referred to appropriate services. If they're needing some financial stability, there's the tennis program that could work with the victim and the children. And at that time, they can receive employment services. They can receive, if they're needing education, an example, HiSET, which used to be known as the GED. They can get on-the-job training skills. And this is where we're a disconnect, and this is where we're looking at having one, again, case management database so that we can hook up the families with available resources and doing that continuum of services. So with the domestic violence and then with the children as well, we have children that may be not having adequate services, so how can we address those continuum of services? And this is where, in our executive offices, where we do have a team to assist all of the 3 departments and the 3 programs. As far as Ms. Rosalind Begay, she's here as a policy legislative. She does reach out to the other departments and programs if they're needing assistance with helping with policies, procedures, if there's position papers that have to be sent to our state or federal partners, those is where one individual works on that. And Ms. Sosi, she does not just work in our office, she's providing assistance to the other accountants, such as Department of Family Services. So we have a team that is, we're trying to provide assistance to the various departments and programs with the level of expertise that they have. And so we will continue, on that charge, Mr. Chair, and not lose sight of the families that we have to provide these ongoing services. Thank you.
Committee members?
Chair, this is Delegate Slater. I'd like to motion to table legislation until Thursday.
Okay, committee members, we have a motion by Honorable Vice Chair Slater to table until Thursday. Okay, Honorable Edison Wanika seconds. A tabling motion, there's no discussion. Mr. Mose?
Yes, sir. Honorable Paul Begay Jr. For table, Honorable Paul Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Carl Russell Slater.
Delegate Slater, green.
Honorable Carl Russell Slater votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Honorable green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Edison J. Wanika. Honorable Edison J. Wanika votes green. Chair, a vote of 4 in favor, 0 opposed, to table until Thursday.
Okay, thank you. A vote of 4 in favor, 0 opposed, the chair not voting. Committee members, that takes us to the end of our agenda. Ms. Martinez, please provide guidance. I lost the place on my phone, or place on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, the committee reviewed item number 3, oversight budget hearing. 1, the presentation from the Office of OMB, and 2, the legislation 0176-20 was read into the record with the main motion held by Honorable Paul Begay Jr. and seconded by Honorable Pernell Halona. And 3, the committee reviewed the Division of Social Services FY 2021 operating budget consisting of A, Business Unit 117001, Business Unit 117008, Business Unit 117022. And I believe the unmet needs still needs to be discussed. 5, your item 5, Mr. Chair, close the meeting, announcements adjourned. Mr. Chair.
Okay. Committee members, what's your wishes? If there's no other items you want to address, chair is open for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Who is that?
Motion to adjourn, Wanika.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Paul Begay. Second by Paul Begay. To our colleagues that are in the BNF room, thank you for being there to keep the committee anchored in our work. Mr. Mose, Ms. Martinez, so this would be the end of our so our next session is at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, we start with Dodie. Yes.
And then the afternoon is with who?
Department of Health.